What's up, everyone? My name is Seth. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my Music Man Valentine. This video is actually going to be a little bit different than the normal guitar reviews I have on this channel, just because I'm not really talking about a guitar that's new to me. Instead, I've actually had this Music Man Valentine for several years now, and in that time it's become the guitar that I play the most. So I just wanted to take the time to make a video about why I love this guitar so much and, why it is the guitar that I pick up the most often out of all the guitars in my collection. Quick bit of background for those of you who might not be too familiar with the Valentine. This is a guitar that was co-designed with James Valentine from the band Maroon 5, and the mission statement behind this guitar was to try to create something to act as a hybrid between a Telecaster and an ES335. Towards the end of 2019, I was browsing Valentines on Reverb, and I actually saw this exact guitar listed for sale by a store called Emerald Guitars in Washington, and funnily enough, Emerald Guitars actually made a YouTube video featuring this guitar for their YouTube channel. So if I could find that video, I'm going to put it in the description box down below for you to check out. But basically, once I saw the guitar in that video and all the photos on their listing, I knew I had to do whatever I had to do to get this guitar in my hands, because this flame maple neck is just absolutely gorgeous, and honestly to this day I think this is one of the nicest looking flame maple necks I've seen on a Valentine. And so I knew the moment I saw those photos that this was going to be the Valentine for me, and I pulled the trigger. I bought it on Reverb, and thankfully, since the guitar was used, I got to save a little bit of money, which is always nice. In addition to this gorgeous maple neck, this guitar also features a swamp ash body in the trans buttermilk finish, which I still think is my favorite finish that the Valentine has ever released, and I just love the way this looks. And interestingly, this body is slightly wedge shaped, so it's a little bit thinner up top than it is at the bottom, so that way the slab style body doesn't really dig into you as much as a standard slab style Telecaster would. As far as hardware goes, this guitar shipped with some Schaller locking tuners, but unfortunately over the years, quite a few of the tuners became a little bit too jumpy and inconsistent for my liking, so I swapped them out for a set of Graphtec ratio tuners recently. And honestly, I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep these tuners on this guitar, just because the tuner posts of the Graphtecs are a little bit taller than the Schaller tuners, and as a result, there's not enough downward pressure on the strings once it gets past the nut. So I've been noticing a lot more overtones with these tuners than I had with the standard Schaller tuners. Granted, functionally they work a lot better and the tuning is a lot more consistent on these, but I think the tuner posts are just a little bit too tall for this particular headstock design. The Valentine also features a compensated nut, 22 medium stainless steel frets. The truss rod adjustment for this guitar, just like every other Music Man guitar, is located at the base of the neck here, so it's super easy to access if you ever need to adjust the neck. I personally haven't needed to on this particular guitar as the neck is super stable, but it's nice to know that if I ever do need to adjust the neck, it's going to be super easy for me. And last but not least, this guitar has a Music Man hardtail bridge. For the pickups, the Valentine features two Ernie Ball Music Man custom pickups. So the bridge is a Telecaster style bridge pickup in a humbucker housing, whereas the neck is a more traditional neck humbucker. As far as switching goes, we've got a 3-way selector switch. It works exactly as you would expect it to, but the volume and the tone knobs are where things get a little bit more interesting because they're both pushes. So if you push in the tone knob, you get to split the neck pickup so you can get slightly more traditional Telecaster sounds out of this guitar. But if you push in the volume, that activates an onboard boost within this guitar. So as a result of that onboard boost, there is a battery in the back, but honestly, I've only had to change this battery twice in the entire time that I've had this guitar, and that battery is also powering a silent circuit to help keep some of the single coil noise away. So if you're someone who is weary of guitars with batteries because you're afraid the battery's gonna die on you, just know I've had this guitar since 2019 and I've only had to change the battery twice despite playing this guitar all the time. So it's not something that's drawing a heavy amount of power from the battery to where you're gonna be changing batteries left and right. As someone who considers himself a bit of a guitar nerd, I can say that it's easy to get stuck on like the specs and the features of a guitar, and while those are impressive with the Valentine, that's not the thing that makes me pick up this guitar more often than the rest of my guitars in the collection. The reason why I pick up this guitar so much is just because it feels so good to play. The Gunstock oil and wax blend on Music Man necks is second to none. I think this is the best neck finish ever, honestly. And this was the first guitar that I really started to enjoy the 1 5/8 inch nut width as opposed to the standard 1 11/16 you see on most production guitars. For whatever reason, this just started to become more and more home base for me, and as a result, this is kind of the neck by which I judge all other guitar necks, whether it's other Music Man necks or necks from other brands. This is kind of the guitar that I could pick up any time of day and I know what it's gonna feel like, and it feels darn good to me. The neck on the Valentine, I'd say, is a pretty thin but not overly thin C shape that does tend to get a little bit thicker as you get to the 12th fret, but it's not even remotely what I would call a thick neck. It's kind of a perfect sweet spot between thin and medium. I'm also a pretty big fan of the 10-inch fingerboard radius that's on the Valentine. I know that's not everybody's preference, but for me, this still feels pretty good to play chords and single note stuff. I can bend without any issues whatsoever, so it's just the right level of roundness for the fingerboard in my personal opinion. Another reason why I love playing this Valentine so much is just how alive it feels when I'm playing it. If I'm strumming chords, both the neck and the body of this guitar are resonating so much, and the guitar is pretty loud acoustically, more so than a lot of my other guitars. So I often find myself just grabbing it and strumming around on the couch or just around the house because I don't really feel the need to plug into anything. It just feels that good to play, and it sounds that good just strumming along acoustically. So that's another big factor in why I'm just kind of constantly picking this guitar up. The good thing is, whenever I do decide to plug this guitar into something like my Axe effects or pretty much anything else, I love the way it sounds there as well. I've always been a huge fan of the way a Telecaster bridge pickup sounds. It's one of my favorite guitar sounds, and I think it works well for most styles of music, honestly. And this Valentine has that sound in spades, but it beefs it up just a little bit to where I actually think it's more comfortable in a wider variety of genres than your standard Telecaster bridge pickup. The neck pickup of the Valentine is also super interesting to me because I feel like Music Man has found a way to kind of distill the sound of a semi-hollow guitar's neck pickup into this neck pickup, which is really strange to me considering this is a solid ash body, pretty thin electric guitar, and it's got that really big, round, semi-hollow body neck pickup sound, which I think it's super special, and it's definitely unique to the Valentine. My other Music Man guitars, neck humbuckers, don't really have this character to them, and it's really nice on this guitar. I also find that the neck pickup pairs really well with the bridge pickup in that middle position, especially if you're playing clean sounds. Overall, I think the Valentine sounds great, and it's a very versatile guitar that works well with pretty much any style of music I personally want to play, whether I'm playing slightly cleaner, nicer sounding stuff, if I want to play some pop punk stuff, even if I want to play something super heavy. As long as I dial things in appropriately, I feel like I can get by just fine with just my Valentine. Right, I think it's time for some more sound examples, so I'm going to plug this into my Axvex 3 and play some more clips for you guys. I want you guys to let me know what you think about the way this guitar sounds in that comment section down below, and once we come back, I'm going to give you my final thoughts on my Valentine. So to quickly wrap everything up, this Music Man Valentine has been the guitar that I have picked up the most ever since I got it back in 2019. And honestly, I don't see any signs of that changing anytime soon. I love the way this neck feels. I love how resonant this guitar is. And I love the way it sounds when I do plug it in. And I think it's versatile enough to handle pretty much anything that I'm throwing at it on a day-to-day basis. I've written plenty of songs on this guitar just by virtue of how easy this guitar is to play. It stays out of my way and it feels incredibly comfortable, and that feeling is super, super inspiring, and I really don't see myself parting with this Valentine or playing it any less than I already do. And I think that's pretty much all there is to say in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you that sits through these videos and just hangs out for a couple minutes out of your day. It means the world to me. If you enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button. I know I say that at the end of every video, but it does really help the channel quite a bit. And if you're interested, check out the links in the description box down below for other ways to help support me and this channel. I'd really appreciate that as well. I just wanted to make a quick video talking about how much I love this guitar, so I hope that was something that was entertaining for all of you. Until next time, take care, and I hope to see you again soon.